And so what does the masculinized male look like?
Well, he's not the chivalric type whose relationship with his own body. And in Reichian terms, you see, when I say body, I mean shadow. So here's where there's a little bridge between Jung and Reich that probably they didn't even realize existed. But there is. And that is that the body, the chivalric man with his six-pack and his broad shoulders, carrying the weight of the world and carrying the weight of mother, that's not what it's all about. There's a different kind of model, more like the Bruce Lee type of model, in which the body is speaking to you constantly, and your disciplines like Tai Chi, Aikido, whatever it may be, or a hybrid of those things, more of a martial arts type of framing will be what is also needed. And that's art. And then there's other, the more hands-on art of pottery, calligraphy, music, painting, all of that, because that's opening the imagination. One leads to the other. They're very closely connected, right? So the real masculine man is artist, but he's also artisan. So he's working with wood, he's working with stone, he teaches his kids how to carve things, he gets the calligraphy pens out, he gets the pottery out. They go around and tinker in nature, and learn about the ways of animals. And a lot of these things, or even the weather, it's like all of that. All these things that are slowly being erased by our digitized, society, or narcissistic society, in which the laptop and the camera, is all now a mirror. I've spoken about that as well, which sort of is another aspect of feminization, So it's a multiplicity of things, but art is very important because it opens up not only communion with the imagination and helps you, because remember, what we're talking about here is fighting great evil. You're not going to be able to do it from just a pure rational, point of view. There's more to it. You have to dig down into the reservoirs of inner bioenergy, inner power. That's one of the reasons why you see these soy boys going about. I mean, I can't even pass them by. I gotta stop and let them go by. They're so hideous.
Yeah.
So that creature, that thing, whatever it is, is lacking any kind of holistic bioenergy, and their bodies and their gormless faces. They try to grow beards and shit as a parody of the masculine, but that sorry mate, that doesn't cut it. You're still fucking loathsome, right? So the thing is that the real male doesn't need to wear the trappings. He doesn't have to wear a t-shirt and drive a pickup truck to prove he's or one of these plaid shirts and grow a beard, Grizzly Adams, and then ride a pickup truck to prove he's male. None of that. He's a different kind of being, but he has masculinity oozing from himself. That's the kind of male who is so rooted in himself, who didn't have a terrible mother. I mean, you still can have one and grow straight, which is thank goodness for that. But usually the mother has brought them up to be men and has to admire the male world. That would go for a masculine woman or a masculine man. So the masculine man follows the same, contour. He's entered the solar world easily. He's not blind. He sees the negatives, but he is very respectful of what men have done. And I would always put that in the context of the Western world. That's just a peccadillo, right? Because I think a lot of Eastern cultures are deeply feminized in a way that we're becoming, but have not been up until now. So, Scots-Irish man, Anglo-Saxon man, Teutonic man, they really revere, what their forebears have done. And so what they will do, one of the signs of that is they will not let anyone in their life, their partner, their girlfriend, you see, the people they meet, their best mates, they will not allow those people to collapse or crumble. So one of the things of the masculine man is he is kind of he's not chivalric, which is, as you say, a parody of it, but they will sort of supervene and make sure that their culture doesn't slide, and that the people that they know rise to their highest capacity. Now, this man is hated. In other work, I've also shown it that it's really the third and fourth imago. I don't know if we have time to go there. That's looking at it from a female. Well, maybe we should.
Yeah.
In the life of a woman, right? And this again is very abbreviated because there's a lot more imagos than what I'm going to say. But there's four main imagos that are of the male that a woman encounters, right? 1 and 2 are more humble and earthy and workaday. And there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing evil in it. And then there's the third and the fourth that are different because they're more intellectual. They have maybe higher IQs. They certainly have a broader, quest. And the fourth imago really does. He's more a priest type. He's more a sage type. The third one is more an intellectual, say in a college sense, or a professor, or an intellectual, a great writer, like Marilyn Monroe went with Arthur Miller. That's a perfect third imago. But she couldn't transcend that and actually slip back the second and first imagos. Sadly to say, but that's what I mean. And there's many examples of that. A woman who marries a successful politician who's trying to change the world, he does well, and he has a humanitarian streak, and he's always waxing about, some philosophical paradigm, all of like that. Then there's the fourth imago. But what I've noticed, and what is an absolute fact, is that women dislike the fourth imago. They'd much rather, you couldn't pull teeth to get them to go with that guy. That's why the fourth imago doesn't exist in our world, is because it's been, it's been bred out because of the fact that nobody wants or cares about it. But that fourth imago is similar to what we're talking about now, is definitely a masculinized male. And there's many examples of that, right? Both in fiction and in normal daily life. It's what the male really should have been if he had not been molested by socialism and Frankfurt School and all this other nonsense, right? But it's a person who has a deeper sense of caring, not only about the world, the urbanized world, within that Euroboric circle, but also cares about nature. And so his children are going to be, not as urbanized. Even if they live in an urban environment, that father is going to be somebody who takes those children out to nature to paint it, or to learn about it, or to keep animals, or to visit frequently, nature and have picnics and things, and just take them out swimming and all of mountain climbing and all of these kinds of things. That would be a masculine kind of man. You're not going to find any feminized men stepping one foot outside the urban environment